telling, because let's call out Disney on their damn racism. Since we already did that with Snow White. But then let's do it with Star Wars, because Disney want to sit and buy every damn thing up. So there's a show that's on Apple TV Plus. Honestly, I was not going to get around to watching it. I was like, I don't know if I want to see it. I've been seeing a lot of the trailers. It's called Number One on the Call Sheet, and I know they speak to like Will Smith, Angela Bassett, so many other celebrities. But one of them I did not know they were going to be speaking about was John Boyega. And when they spoke with him, he opened up about his time of being in Star Wars and the overall racism that he had to endure while playing Finn, I think was his character's name, in those Star Wars movies, which I don't like any of them. Well, I actually liked The Force Awakens. I don't like the other two. I didn't like The Last Jedi, and I damn sure didn't like The Rise of Skywalker was just awful. But let's get into it. So, John Boyega called out Star Wars for being so white during an interview as part of the new Apple TV original documentary, Number One on the Call Sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood. This was, and shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this. So he debuted as Finn, and okay, so I was right, because I was like, I think his name was Finn. It's been so long since I've seen those movies. So yeah, his role in the sequel trilogy led to online harassment from racist and toxic Star Wars fans upset with a black actor playing a lead hero in the space franchise, which I always find weird because y'all will accept all kinds of Jim Henson's Creature Shop passing off as aliens, but you won't accept a black man being a lead character in a franchise that's not even a superhero franchise, but a franchise that's based off of science fiction. Like, make that make sense. Like, and I could have sworn that science fiction was always about exploring different races, genders. Like, they were very much open-minded with that. Even with Star Trek, like, when you look at Star Trek has always been pretty much open-minded in that whole context. But then, of course, you get these racist morons who really don't I guess maybe y'all just sit staring at the TV and don't retain the information that comes from what y'all are watching, that you don't really pay attention to what you're watching. Like, you just sit and look at shit and just be like, oh, that looks interesting, but are you actually paying attention to the story? And no shade of George Lucas, but he was not he wasn't a good writer when it came to the dialogue. Nerve herder? Like, what the hell does that even mean? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Because that line was in the New Hope. But anyway, let's get into it. So he said, let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existing in it was something. This is what he said in the documentary. You can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and we had Samuel L. Jackson. For those of you who don't know, Lando Calrissian was played by Billy D. Williams. And then we had Samuel L. Jackson. What was his character name? Mace Windu, I think it was. Look at me actually remembering names. Because I know how I be struggling out here on the struggle bus. Sometimes I'm like, what's that person's name? And this, I was like, but today I guess the brain is working. So they say it's like me telling how many cookie chips are in the cookie dough. It's like they just scattered that in there, bro. They're okay with us playing the best friend, but once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just a bit too much. They're pandering. This is what he said, while also acknowledging that being cast in the franchise was a fundamental moment in his career. And to add on that, they're pandering. Oh no, their favorite word is woke. They love it. Oh, they trying to be woke. Because whoa, 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 whoa. That's the main thing y'all want to run up and use as a crutch or as a weapon, when last time I checked, woke was about being aware of things that are going on in disenfranchised communities, especially when it comes to black folks, because woke is a black term that came out eons ago. I believe in like the 1920s or 30s, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like, be aware, be woke, or stay woke. That's what it was. But like, so if there was anything that was going on where white people were doing things to black folks, it was a warning for black folks to just be vigilant and aware of things that was going on from the racists. That's what woke means. So whenever y'all try to throw in any kind of diversity, which we always welcome, it's not just people of color, but women, LGBTQIA plus people. We just want, at the end of the day, and I can speak in this whole situation because I am a person of color. We just want to see some type of representation of ourselves on the screen. That's it. We're not up in here trying to be like, well, we need a black Han Solo. Like, even I would be against that. I'm like, no, we can create our own character. Just like y'all trying to do the whole thing with a black James Bond. No, we can do our own we can do our own Bond. And yo, you white people can keep your little misogynistic, super spy. Y'all can keep that. We can we can come up with our own thing. But it's like whenever they want to show any kind of diversity, y'all get upset. So I agree with him on that because it's not only just with black folks, it's with women and it's with LGBTQIA plus people. The minute we had like a gay superhero, y'all gonna have a problem with it. But you love when we up in there being your secretary, we the nanny or the manny to your children, that we are the receptionist, that we the comedy relief. You're okay when we playing a secondary character. You're okay when we playing the sidekick. But when we actually want an opportunity to be number one on the call sheet, hence the name of the show or the documentary, y'all got a problem. But here's the thing. Why are you mad? Everything, and I've come to learn this in life, maybe because it was the way I was raised, but everything isn't for everybody. Just like I was talking about earlier with Snow White, I'm not the demographic. So why am I upset over this movie because y'all have Rachel Ziegler playing Snow White? It's not for me. First of all, I'm a grown-ass man. What the fuck I care about a goddamn Snow White? Unless, yeah, if you got a family with kids, but it's for the kids. That's what you should be thinking about in your brain. But if you're a grown-ass heterosexual male bitching about a Snow White movie, we need to get you to see a therapist and get you on some medication. Because why are you so mad about that? It's the same thing with these incels that be on social media. But y'all wasn't just going in on John Boyega. You went and dragged Kelly Marie Tran to the point where she had to quit social media. So I'm glad he spoke out on this, but I'm like, before we wrap this up, what else did he say? Because he also brought up Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver. So let's continue what he said. But this isn't the first time that he brought this up. He did bring this up in an interview with GQ magazine in 2020, saying that Disney fumbled the diversity in the Star Wars trilogy, which they did. And I will say this: I like where they were going with Finn in The Force Awakens. Once we got to the other movies, it just sort of like he just became like this window dressing. Y'all didn't know what to do with him. You kind of just put him in the back seat, and his character just wasn't working out. Like, I like the dynamic. Like, I love the chemistry and the dynamic that was between him and Oscar Isaac. There was even things that I was hoping they was actually going to go with it, because I was like, the energy is kind of going that direction. Like, people were even shipping Finn and Oscar Isaac's character. I was like, could y'all make them like a couple or something? I know the kids, the Star Wars fan, the incel, the one that's already mad that he black, that we got a black person in the lead. They would have really shit their pants if they would have made two people of color in the film homosexuals and of color. But wait a minute, didn't they have gay characters in the movie? I think it was in the last one, The Last Jedi, but it was like reduced to like some little cameo situation. Because, the minute they want to show, oh yeah, we're being diverse, we're being different, we're being open-minded, then they know the backlash is coming. So then they just cut it down to the point of like a Coco Peru in that new series that they got over on Hulu with Nathan Lane, where it's like, damn, I had filmed all this shit, and then all of a sudden I'm reduced to like being in the background where you see the back of my head in some room. That's what it was reduced to. And Disney has been notorious for doing that with a lot of their queer characters. So it kind of irritated me in that way, where it's like y'all just reduce his character down to nothing by the time we got to The Last Jedi. So that was my overall irritation. So yeah, speaking of Kelly Marie Tran, he did bring it up. He said, you guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley. You know what to do with Adam Driver. But when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, fuck all. That's how the Brits talk, because he is English. So what do you want me to say? What do you want? What they want you to say is, I enjoyed being a part of it. It was a great experience. Nah. I'll take the deal when it's a great experience. They gave all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest. Daisy knows this. Adam knows this. Everybody knows. I'm not exposing anything. So yeah, they knew. That's why I said I call BS on it. And the funny part is, when you are a person of color, we see through the BS. Everybody else can sit up there and paint you and piss on your leg and tell you it's raining and paint you this picture, this little Hollywood standard, typical, situation. But it's like, I look through and it's like, It's a bunch of BS. I can see right through it. We've been trained to see through the BS because we've been having to deal with the BS majority of our lives. When it comes to when you're in a situation where you're thinking you're pushing through and we're getting to a place where we're being more diverse, where it doesn't feel performative, where it feels like it's a natural progression. This is why we need people of color and so many other races, genders, sexual orientations in powerful positions so we can get these things pushed through. So we can get to see a lot of these awesome characters that you would want that little kid that's sitting at home being like, you know what? I want to be like Finn. I want to be like that character. I want to be like Lando Calrissian. And it's like, yeah, when I was growing up, I wanted to be Han Solo, but we didn't see a lot of those. We didn't see characters that I could relate to growing up that I would aspire to be. It's kind of like when we had Black Panther. That energy, that movement, that feeling that we got when we saw Black Panther on the big screen, and so many little kids wanted to be him. That's what you want to aspire to. That's why when you see people who are different, when you see young girls who look up to Wonder Woman, not Gal Greenstein, but Wonder Woman. When people sit up there and look up to Brie Larson when she was playing Captain Marvel, or you see people who look up to Gamora, you see people who look up to Black Widow, or all these other characters. When you see those young girls that look up to those other superhero characters and aspire to be that for Halloween or whatever the case is, or you see that indigenous kid that wants to go as Namor, which I know a lot of my friends who went as Namor for Halloween and the Comic Con and so many other things. You want to have, that's why we have those diverse moments. And I feel like if you can't open your eyes and your mind to look at that, then you're just being ignorant. And that's fine. If you want to go be ignorant, go be ignorant. But I'm just pointing out that just try to look at things from different sides. So he also went and said, to wrap this up, he revealed to the Hollywood Reporter that that a Disney executive reached out to him following his GQ interview and said he had a very honest, very transparent conversation with the Disney executive and said there was a lot of explaining on their end in terms of the way they saw things. They gave me a chance also to explain what my experience was like. I'd hope that me being so open with my career at this stage would help the next man, the guy who wants to be the assistant DOP, the guy who wants to be a producer. I hope that the conversation is not such a taboo or elephant in the room now because someone just came and said it, which is basically what I was alluding to, of why when people look up to certain superheroes and when you want to get into that place of power, whether you're going to be that next executive or you want to be a producer, because there needs to be more of us out here so that we can get those films or whatever that idea that you have pushed through and get greenlit. So in case y'all didn't know, or if you are interested, I should point out that number one on the call sheet, if you do have Apple TV Plus, definitely check out number one on the call sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood. It is up there. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I'm definitely going to go check it out. So I'm going to try to see if I can watch it this week. But if you have seen it, definitely let me know what your thoughts are on it. And if you plan on seeing it or anything regarding this topic, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below.